Yes, good day, class. I welcome you to today's revision exercise that I'm going to be presenting to you for you to get promoted for your final examinations. Paper 2, I'm just going to do paper 2, paper 2, question 2 alone for today, but just look forward for question 3. I'm just breaking this presentation in questions, like per question, just so therefore you cannot have too much long presentations or videos. So without wasting any time, let us just go through to the questions that are given on board here. It's reproductive structures used for sexual reproduction in angiosperm planes. Study the diagram below and answer the questions that follow. We are given this diagram there. Let's just go to the questions. Is this flower insect wind or a bird pollinated? The question wants us to know if this flower is wind insect or a bird pollinated flower. I'm sure if you can look at the diagram here, you can see that the flower is what it is. This is a wind pollinated flower. This is a wind pollinated flower. This is a wind pollinated flower class. This is a wind pollinated flower. And then we want to look into what is the reasons. List 2 characteristics of this flower that makes it well adapted for your answer that you have given above. Why should we say that this flower is wind pollinated? 1, small flowers without colorful petals. We have got the flower has got no colorful petals. 1, it is a small flower without colorful petals. 2, what else can we say that it is a wind pollinated? It has got large amounts of pollens, as we can see there. The flower has got large amount of pollen grains. The plant has got large amount of pollen grains. The plant has large amount of pollen grains. That we can see on our flower in the diagram above. What else can we see? The pollen grains, you can see that they are very light. They are almost blown off by wind. Pollen grains are very light. Pollen grains are very light. What else can we say? They are very light. There is also stigma is large. The stigma is large. Is large enough. The stigma is large, feathery and stick to the trap is large. Is feathery and stick to trap as much pollen as possible. Feathery and stick to trap as much pollen as possible. As much pollen as possible. as much pollen as possible. As you can see here. So these are characteristics that can actually indicate that it's a what? It's a wind pollinated flower. As much pollen as possible. It can actually show us that this is a wind pollinated flower. We can as well talk about anthers are attached to filament in such a way that they are easily movable with wind. The anthers are attached to the filament such that they can be easily moved by wind. I think that we can also see on the diagram above. Uh, let's go to the next question. Angiosperms are a group of plants that produce seeds by means of sexual reproduction. What is the main advantage of sexual reproduction to plants? Uh, Actually, this one, advantage of sexual reproduction, the main advantage of it, we can actually agree that it generates a great variety of genetic variation. Uh, it promotes a great deal of genetic variation. A great deal of genetic variation. So if plants are in any population species, the advantage of variation is that we cannot have mass extinction class. Organisms cannot die all of them at once, which is a good advantage. Survival of the fittest, we have got a good advantage in regards to sexual reproduction. The biological characteristics of organisms are passed on as they are, which would enable a great succession or a great survival of the organism or the population species. So actually, it's a good advantage, great deal of genetic variation, promoting survival of the promoting survival of what? A variation that promotes sustainable species sustainable existence of plants. To say we cannot have mass extinction class, the population of these plants can exist for so long, which is a good advantage in this regard. And then going to the next question, a seed A seed bank in Norway has been storing seeds of a rare and endangered plant to keep the seeds fresh. 120 of the seeds of this plant were selected to be grown. Out of these 120 seeds, only 90 germinated. What percentage of the seeds was not fertile? Show your working. So in this case, we just want to see that what percentage of the seeds was not fertile. So we want the percentage of the seeds that did not germinate. So what we are saying is that total number of seeds minus the number of seeds that germinated. In this regard, what we are supposed to do is that we are just saying 120 minus 90 is equals to total number of seeds that did not germinate, which is equals to 30 and then 30 seeds did not germinate, were not fertile, but we want a percentage in this case. So what we want is that we want the percentage which is equals to 30 over 120 multiplied by 100 over 1. And then this is what we can get. If we can input it there, we can get what? We can get our answer is what? Is 25%. 25% of the seeds were what? 25% infertile, 25% not fertile. So you can see this is quite a good, a simple calculation don't miss the question. Get the question right first. You need to know the number of seeds that did not germinate, and then you express that as a percentage, as I've shown you on this, on the board here, and then explain how each of the following structures, how each of the following features of seeds is important to the plant survival. A, seeds can remain dormant for long periods of time. Dormant is a season whereby the seeds are not germinating, that is dormant. Dormant, meaning to say that not germinating for a time. This is a season of lifelessness. Lifelessness period. That is what we mean by dormant class. That is what we mean by dormant. So what is the advantage of dormant? That is A, our question A. What is the advantage? They can survive unfavorable conditions. Therefore, seeds can survive unfavorable conditions and survive unfavorable conditions because that they are not germinating, or they are in a season of sleeplessness where they are inactive. So it is an advantage because seeds can survive unfavorable conditions. That is an advantage in this respect. And then some seeds contain endosperm tissue. Number B, what is the advantage of that? It actually helps to provide food for the growing embryo. It provides food to the growing. It provides food to the growing embryo until the plant starts to make food by photosynthesis. Embryo for the embryo until the plant can start to make its own food by photosynthesis. That is a good advantage. B, some seeds containing endosperm, so tissue. So it enables the provision, or it ensures provision of food to the growing embryo until the plant can start to make its own food by photosynthesis. So that is the advantage of what? Of having the endosperm tissue. And then we can go to the next question. Next question, study the phylogenetic tree below, which actually shows, take note of how the 4 plant divisions have evolved and answer the questions that follow. The phylogenetic tree diagram, it is just showing evolutionary relationship. I'm sure that you know, in a phylogenetic tree, it is a diagram that represents the genealogy, or the way in which evolution took place, the way in which generations came to be established. So having this diagram here, we have got our algae as the 4 ancestor, and then it gave rise to multiple generations and types of trees or plants that we can now have, which are non-vascular pollen, and then naked seeds, up to the angiosperm, the fern, the mossy. They are all generations which come as a result of the what? Of the algae. And then question number 1, it says, what is the ancestral form of all the plants divisions shown? So I'm saying you need to understand to say where they are all starting from is the ancestral what? Is the ancestral plant division, is the ancestral form. So it is what? It is algae. It is algae class, because I'm saying you identify where these plants are, or where all the other generations originated from. Therefore, the first to be established is the what is the ancestral form. Which plant division is the best adapted to life on land? Which plant division is the best adapted to plant to is best adapted to life on land? You can see, as you can see here, I'm saying it is the what? It is the angiosperm. The angiosperm is the plant that is most adapted for life, to life on land. Is the angiosperm. So which plants are the most closely, which plants are the most closely related? The closely related, we look at the process of evolution, which to say which ones are the closely related plants. So if you look into it, we have got the gymnosperms and what, and we are talking about plant class. We are saying plants which are closely related. We can say this is one and two, this one. They are closely related. So we can say it is what? It is the gymnosperms and the angiosperm in this case. It is the gymnosperm and what? And the angiosperm. They are the closely related plants. Question 3. Question 2.1.2.3.3. Let's quickly just answer the next question. The question shows the number of cases of TB and the number of deaths from TB and the number of deaths from TB around the world in 2009. Start the table and answer the questions that follow. We have got the region, number of cases, and number of deaths. So in this case, what we are asked to do is that we have got Africa, Europe, Southeast Asia, Western Pacific, Mediterranean, and then the globe of totals, 1,401, 14,000, 1,300 total cases or total death cases. So the question wants us to say draw a bar graph. Draw a bar graph. The question wants us to draw a bar graph that is supposed to be bar graph using the data for each region in the table to show the number of deaths and understand the number of deaths from TB. As you can see, I'm saying from the diagram, it's saying number of cases and number of deaths. So we are based on number of what? Number of deaths class. Our graph, our bar graph is based on the number of what? It's based on the number of deaths. We are looking on the number of deaths, which means we are supposed to look at that bar in that column. So I can quickly just show you what we should do before we go anywhere. When we are drawing a graph, we must consider our vertical and our horizontal axis. So in this case, our information on the vertical axis, data is going to be on the vertical axis, and then regions is going to be on the horizontal axis. So please don't forget that in this case, we are supposed to make sure that we consider in terms of the vertical axis, we consider the highest and the lowest. So our highest set of data is 480, and then our lowest is 20. So in this regard, we can choose a suitable scale that must accommodate the highest and the lowest value, the highest and the lowest set of data. So let me just quickly show you what we can do here, what can be done in this graph. So we are saying draw a bar graph, draw a bar graph. So it's supposed to have number of deaths due to TB in different regions of the world. Title, which is question 2.41, 2.4.1, number of deaths, number of deaths, number of deaths uh, due to TB in different regions of the world, in different regions of the world, in different regions of the world, and then that is our title. That's the title of the graph. So I'm saying we are going to draw the graph, which must be, we are supposed to draw our graph, which must give us the process, the total. I can just draw it like that, and then just note that my graph is just drawn randomly here. But of course, here we have got the number of deaths, as I've indicated the number of deaths, and then we have got, I said, we should use a specific scale that can help us to have these figures properly. So I'm gonna use a scale of 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. So I've got my 100 there, my 200, my 300 there, my 400, 5, and then 6, just like that. So what I'm saying is that on the horizontal axis, I said we have got regions here. We have got regions in the horizontal axis there. So in our horizontal axis, we are saying Africa has got 430. So I can make Africa 430, Africa 430. That is my 430 there. And then I said again, classic, don't forget to label the reading that each bar is representing, because we need the convenience. So this is what we have got our Africa there. We are saying here, we have got Africa. We have got my Africa here. Africa has got 430. So this is Africa, which is 430. And then the next region is what is America, which is 20. America is 20. So I can just say 20 is just low there. And then I put my 20 there, which is America. America is 20 there. And then I have got my Europe is 62. Europe is 62. So which is something also a little bit up there. And then I have my 62 there, which is Europe. Europe is 62. And then my next graph is Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia is 480. 480 is supposed to be almost close to 500, but not 500. So it must come somewhere there. So which is how much? 480. I have to mark it again. It's Southeast Asia, Southeast Asia, and then I have got Western Pacific, which is 240. The next one, which is, what is it? Southeast, I've got the Western Pacific. Western Pacific is 240, which is somewhere there, just above. I will just put my 240 there, and then 240, which is Western Pacific. Western Pacific, I labeled again, I put it there. And then Eastern Mediterranean is what? Eastern Mediterranean. Let me just check. Yes. My Eastern Mediterranean, just to confirm the figures, the Eastern Mediterranean is 99. The Eastern Mediterranean is 99. So I can just also go close to 100 somewhere there. And then it's 99, which is Eastern Mediterranean. So that is my graph class. That is my graph. My graph is drawn, which is showing the regions. The regions are there, which I have shown here. My regions are shown on the horizontal axis. And then I have also shown you that on this side, I have got the number of deaths, which are also shown. The number of deaths are also shown there. My number of deaths are also shown there. And then I have got a key. So when you are drawing a graph class, the graph must not fill up the page. It must be a moderate size with all the bars visible, and it must show the relevance and the variation in terms of what? In terms of the different bars. So as you can see, these are the bars that I've just made here, and everything looks clear and it is quite nice. As you can see, I'm just free hand drawing, so it cannot be as much clearer with straight lines as it should be. But you are, when you are drawing, please make sure that there is what you use a ruler and a pencil. And please again, don't forget there is a title which is given to say whenever you draw a graph, there is a title that is given. Number of deaths due to TB in different regions of the world. That is the title. So when you are going to mark my graph here, you won't be struggling to say, is this correct? Because I have already given the readings which are there to say what is the bar representing. I am showing you the figures or the readings of each bar. Each bar is given. So please don't make mistakes of forgetting to put or to label the readings of each of the bars. That is quite expected of you, because the examiner cannot know if it is pointing exactly to the reading that you want to say is the one that is there. So put the readings on top of each of the bars to ensure that you don't lose marks unnecessarily. Thank you very much. Let's go to the next question. Let's just go to the next question. Our next question is saying, calculate the percentage of cases in calculate the percentage of cases in the Eastern Mediterranean, the percentage of cases I'm sure that it can look number of cases, and then in southeastern Mediterranean. So what is happening is that in terms of the number of cases here, what are you supposed to do? We are given that it is for 1,000 out of the total, which is 14,000. So this question, calculate the number of cases, 2.24, 2.4.2, the number of cases, the percentage number of cases, percentage number of cases is equals to what we are given there. We are given that this is for Eastern Mediterranean, which is equals to 1,000. 1,000 that I'm taking from the region there over total, which is 14,000. Multiply by what? Multiply by 100 over 1. When you multiply that and put it through your calculator, you can see that this will give you what is this? 7.1%. So in terms of percentage calculations, guys, it is always percentage is out of 100. So it is the chance of the region or the total possibilities of the region over, or a number of possibilities of within the region over the total, which is 14,000, which is the total. And then when you input it there, you get 7.1%. 4.3, 4.2.3. Why do you think that Europe and America have such a small number of cases of TB compared to other countries in the table above? What can be the reason there? I think you can see the countries we are saying Europe. It is Europe and America. Europe and America have got small number of cases. They have got small number of cases. Europe number of cases is 500. Europe is 560. Europe is 560, and then America is 350. What can be the reason for it to have such numbers? One, they are well-developed countries. I'm sure that we know they are well-developed countries. Hence, the issues of TB cannot be a problem. They are well-developed countries. That is one reason that we can talk about that. And then people are well-educated about these diseases. Their population are well-educated about TB. Hence, they know how to prevent it. They are well educated about TB. For that reason, they know how to prevent it. We can also talk about they've got good health and social infrastructure again, which reduces the cases of TB. They have well-developed health facilities. They have well-developed health facilities and infrastructure. Which we are saying these can as well prevent chances of what? Chances of having the disease or people having diseases of this one. In other ways, we can also put another point, which can be point number 4. Point number 4, we can as well conclude to say that the people do not live in crowded people do not live in crowded or dead or dirty accommodation or housing. People do not live in crowded or dirty accommodation. That is another reason why we can have also lower cases of these diseases in Europe and Asia. Next question, we have got the diagram representing three animals. We have got three animals, which are these A, B, and C. There are three animals that are represented. These are three animals that are represented here. Let's just see the question. The diagram represents three animals. Let's just see what does it want us to say. These three animals, we are given A, B, C, and then I was saying, take note that you don't make mistakes there, and then state the type of symmetry. State the type of symmetry of animal B. State the type of symmetry of animal B. Type of symmetry. You know, when something is symmetrical, it means can be what can be divided equally into specific equal pieces. So B, the type of symmetry in B, this is a type of what we call is asymmetrical. We can say that it's asymmetrical. B, it is asymmetrical. It is asymmetrical. And then which of the animals does not pose through does not possess through a gut? Which of them does not pose through the gut? It can also be from our question there, it can as well be what? It can as well be B or C. It can be B or C. It can be B or B and C. They can fit all of them to be suitable to this question. B and C. B and C can fit in that respect. And then state whether each of the organisms A and C are, they are diploblastic or they are typoblastic, tripoblastic. So what is happening is that A and C, consider A and C, are they, where are they? So we are saying A is what? Is you can look at A is what? It is a triple. A is triple. We can say it's a robustic. And then C, we can say it is what? Is the one that is the one that is the dipole plastic. You see, so A, it is the one for triple, and then C is the dipole. And then mention the type of symmetry as it relates to each of the following animals, and explain how the symmetry is appropriate to the mode of life of A. We can give A in this case, it is what? It's a bilateral symmetry. It's bilateral symmetry. Leads to, which we are saying, it leads to what? It leads to cephalization. Cephalization, as soon as the organism enters into a new environment, it can sense danger and detect the food. That's one thing that happens there. As soon as soon as soon as the organism enters into a new environment, into a new environment, as soon as an organism enters into a new environment, it can sense danger and detect the food. Enters into a new environment, it can sense danger and detect the food. And detect the food. That is A. And then in terms of C, it's a radial symmetry. C, it's a radial symmetry. What do we mean by that? It can sense food and danger equally well from all directions. Can sense food and danger. It can sense food and danger equally well from all directions. That's what you should understand here in terms of these organisms. In terms of these organisms, A and C. We are saying A, it is actually supposed to be understood that it's bilateral. It is actually bilateral symmetry. The bilateral symmetry. And then C, it is what is radial symmetry. We are saying it is radial because it can sense food and danger equally well in all directions. That is C. So please take note of this. Take note of this. You mustn't make a mistake when it comes to questions such as these ones again. So what I'm saying is, if you look at A and C, these are the contextual questions that you must always look forward to and try to make sure that you don't make mistakes when they appear. Let's go to question 2.6. Read the passage and study the graph. Accumulation of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere changes the climate, melting glaciers, rising sea levels, and new and more frequent weather extremes will change the entire world. Global warming, I'm sure. Water supply are decreasing. Yes. Crop yields are dropping. Yes. Effects of global warming. Forests are burning. We talk about natural wildfires, and oceans are becoming more acidic. Climate change. Scientists warn that if we do not reduce our greenhouse gases emission, average global temperature could rise to 4 degrees. Can increase by 4 degrees Celsius or more by 2100 with threatening implications. So changes in carbon dioxide level in the atmosphere. I told you that when a graph is drawn, it always has to have what? A title. And then we are having the carbon dioxide parts per millions. And then we have got time in what? In years. This is time which is given in what? In years is given there. 2006 to 2006 to 2017. Write one phrase from the passage that indicates that climate change affects the following: food security. In terms of food security, what is it that can be said that climate change affects food security? What can we say? In this respect, I'm sure that you can see from the graph, I mean from the composition or from the essay that food security, we talk about crop yields dropping, it is given in there.